Explosion rocks Abuja, 5 people rushed to hospital. A mother and her 4 children abducted as military repel bandits in Kaduna. A woman escapes from captivity in Katsina. And on the foreign scene, Pakistani Taliban claims responsibility for killing police officer guarding Punjab team. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Updates. I am Martia Umar. Now the news in detail. At least 5 people, including 3 children, have been seriously injured when a gas burst into flames in the Gwagwalada Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The explosion took place at the uncompleted building area of Dangiri, not far from the Lokoja and Abuja Road in Gwagwalada. Reports said that the injured have been rushed to Zaman Hospital in the Dangiri area of Gwagwalada. Eyewitnesses told Daily Trust that the incident happened when a customer came to buy fuel and making calls at the same time, but that could not be ascertained. Meanwhile, at least 4 shops were reportedly affected by the inferno. Bandits have abducted a mother and her 4 children at the residence in Or Village, Sabantesha community of Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. The Kaduna State Police Public Relations Officer ASP Chaliga Muhammad confirmed the abduction in a statement. According to him, the incident happened simultaneously with another kidnap attempt that was fought by security agencies in the same community on Saturday. He said the victims were taken to an unknown destination, adding that efforts are ongoing to ensure their safe return, and urged the public to promptly report suspicious situations and incidences to ensure quick response from the command. Elsewhere, Adamawa State Police Command says it has arrested a gunrunner as part of a reinvigorated clampdown against banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery and other violent crimes across the state. Deputy Superintendent of Police Suleiman Nkoroje, Public Relations Officer Adamawa State Police Command said that the arrest of the gunrunner is made in Gombe. According to him, the arrest followed a joint operation involving the police and local hunters while on a stop-and-search operation along Ngada-Gombe Road. Ngoroje said 6 fabricated guns were also recovered from the suspect. The suspect, Shino Mano Ramos, is a 23-year-old resident of Sheno Belta Village, Gombe local government. The police said Ramos is a notorious gun dealer and specializes in trafficking smuggled arms between Borno and Adamawa State for his collaborators. Adamawa State Commissioner of Police Muhammad Barde, while commending his men for apprehending the suspects on a stop-and-search mission, has promised more deployment of police to consolidate the success being recorded by command in its reinvigorated fight against violent crimes to keep the state safe ahead of the Yuletide. The youngest sister of Katsina Deputy Speaker Shehu Tafoki, Asma Dalhatu, has escaped from bandits' den after 105 days in captivity. Confirming the development, the lawmaker said she escaped from the enclave. The abductors kept her during a military onslaught. The abductors took Asma and her sister from her family house on 4th of September when they stormed the Tafoki village in Faskari local government area of Katsina State. On their way into the forest, they encountered some members of the vigilante group and exchanged gunfire. And in the process, one of the girls escaped and returned home, but the others could not run away, so they went away with them. And the deputy speaker said Asmao is a secondary school leaver who is about to be given out in marriage at the same time when the unfortunate incident took place. And still on security matters, killings of travelers in Sokoto and worshippers in Niger State and other places has ignited protests in key northern states. In Abuja, groups formed on the many hashtags including Northern Life Matters and Secure Our Lives has on Friday staged a peaceful protest at the Unity Fountain. The purpose of the gathering, according to the organizers, is to send home a message to the government and security agencies to step up in protecting lives and property of Nigerians. Chijoke Okafo reports.
Following several cases of abduction, kidnapping and killings by bandits, terrorists and in some cases unknown gunmen in the country, some well-meaning Nigerians have gathered at the Unity Fountain in Nigeria's capital city to protest these unending wars. This is coming just days after the Sokoto massacre, where 42 people were roasted alive in a bus by bandits. The group came together in uniformity to lend their voice against the gruesome murders, kidnappings and abductions, as well as insurgency ravaging parts of northwest and northeast Nigeria.
Our concern is about the security breach. So we are not being carried away by either geographical bigotry or regional bigotry, but rather we are nationalists and we are advocates for peace and justice.
They are blaming the situation of the country on the inability of the government to provide security operatives with adequate firepower to battle these criminals.
We are nationalists, we are not sectionalists, and we are not advocates for sectional protection or sectional security or sectional original security, but rather we have a concern over what happens in Sokoto and what has been happening. So we are advocating for President Muhammadu Buhari to kindly recruit more personnel and equip them with armament, modern technology, so that they can do better. What we need is we want him to exit with to leave a legacy behind that can be copied.
But the group is not just narrowing their agitation to problems springing from northern Nigeria. They are also concerned about security challenges in the southeast and western parts of the country.
We feel it's time we come out and tell the government that we are not happy. We are not happy that our people are being killed in the north. We are not happy about our women being raped. We are not happy about the way bandits are raising our farms with impunity. We are not happy, we are not happy. We are here to tell the government to come to our aid. We are here to demand, not beg. We are here to tell them to do the right thing.
The protest has just begun, as the protesters have sworn to keep speaking up until insecurity is duly addressed in Nigeria. We are here at the Unity Fountain in the heart of Abuja, where a coalition of human rights activists, security experts and others from northern Nigeria have gathered to protest the incessant killings, kidnappings and banditry across northwestern and northeastern parts of the country. Now, they are not just calling for peace and stability in northern Nigeria, they are extending it to other parts of the country as well. From the Unity Fountain in Abuja, Chijoke Okafo, Trust TV News.
Loki in Katsina following the killing of the State Commissioner of Science and Technology, Rabbi Nasir. The United Nations General Assembly has set aside the 10th of December each year as an International Human Rights Day globally. This year's celebration attracted NGOs, government officials, security agencies and other relevant stakeholders across Katsina State. Correspondent Abdullahi Isma reports.
The stakeholders who lament over the increasing rate of criminality charged parents to take the responsibility of ensuring proper upbringing of their children with utmost care and seriousness. The coordinator, Katsina State Human Rights Network of Nigeria, expressed confidence that the moral decadence, especially by the youth, can drastically be addressed if parents take the responsibility of their children seriously.
To enable human rights organizations and other stakeholders to reflect on the prospects, constraints, and proper solution to human rights activities, human rights problems. Where we have problems, we mend our fences. We discuss efforts being made by stakeholders, and then we make review of our activities and see where we have problems, how we resolve our problems for Nigeria and other countries across the globe to go forward as far as human rights movements are concerned.
He commended the judiciary for establishing conflicts and dispute resolution centers as an alternative to regular courts. While presenting the speech of the Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, the Katsina State Coordinator, Barrister Adamu Umar, said the Commission has conducted trainings for law enforcement agencies on the best way to handle cases without infringing on the fundamental human rights of suspects under custody.
With great pleasure that I welcome you all to this year's event, to mark this year's International Human Rights Day. This year's theme is equality, reducing inequality, and advancing human rights. It's very unique to us, a national human rights institution, in a number of ways. Firstly, the word equality speaks to the very foundational principle of human rights, which is non-discrimination or equality of treatment of all human beings, irrespective of circumstances of birth, age, color, gender, religion, or political opinion.
A cross-section of people speak on the significance of Human Rights Day, the organizations and the rate at which human rights violations continue to rise in the society. In Katsina, Abdullahi Ismayamadi reporting for Trust Television News.
You're still watching Trust TV News Update, coming up after the break. Cases of missing children resurfaces in Kano State.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news update. But before we move on to more news, let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that at least 5 people, including 3 children, have been seriously injured when a gas cylinder exploded and burst into flames in the Gwagwalada Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja. And the bandits have abducted a mother and 4 of her children at their residence in Oil Village, Sabon Tasha community of Chico local government area of Kaduna State. And moving on to more news, the senator representing Adamawa Southern Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Vinos Yoroe, has called on the government to prioritize investment in healthcare by upgrading the nation's healthcare infrastructure. Senator Vinos, during the closing ceremony of the 7th Free Medical Outreach Program in Jeddah General Hospital, says that any law prohibiting medical tourism for some category of Nigerians overseas cannot fix the rot in the health sector. The report.
It is the fourth day, and this medical outreach targeting the poor is coming to an end. It is the seventh organized by Senator Binos Yaro, the senator representing Adamawa Southern Senatorial District in the National Assembly for his constituency, comprising 9 local government council areas of Adamawa State. The Senate President Amela is here, represented by Senator Bulus Amos, the senator representing Gombe South Senatorial District in the Senate. Head of the medical outreach team, Dr. Talemo Wycliffe, said already over 6,800 indigent persons have received free medical services, even though it had targeted 7,000 beneficiaries.
I think at the last count, I've been given some figures that we've given out cards up to 6,800 officially, and so we've attended to general public that are sick, and about 1,920 of them have gone to the laboratory for one thing or the other. Those in the ophthalmology section have done 223 eye procedures, cataract extraction and so on. And then the optometrist has given 700 eyeglasses, and then he has seen people and given things to. The dentists, they have done 502 people, and mind you, we are 6 hours away from completing. So we think we're going to see more people. The total figure for those gynae and surgical cases, we have enlisted the number we think we can do. So when we add it, we see about 223 cases.
We believe our objectives have been achieved. We have intervened in the health conditions of a large number of people, and we have helped them. Some who had no other way of getting the help that they required. So we believe we have touched lives directly, and again, as I keep saying, we do this thing without any kind of discrimination or showing any preferential treatment.
But in a country where healthcare still remains parlous, Senator Binos believes the country's poor health infrastructure contributed to Nigerian medical experts going overseas to render medical services, which many Nigerians still go outside the country to get. He urged the government to make policies that would improve the health sector.
So it is the responsibility of government to put in place policies that will improve the health sector, so that our people can receive their healthcare treatment in Nigeria rather than going outside the country. I'm not sure whether it should be done by way of a law prohibiting people going outside. If you do that and the facilities are still not there, then all you are going to do is to contribute in sending people to their early graves. So if somebody has a means to go to India to receive treatment, he should do so. But let us improve our own facilities so that people can get their own treatment here on their own, not because you compel them.
The example of Senator Yaro is good enough to demonstrate to all and sundry that the prospect for us all is bright when we elect good leaders.
And away from health matters, nearly 3 years since the rescue of 9 Kano missing children and the subsequent conviction of one Paul Owen in relation to the crime cases of child abduction have resurfaced in some parts of Kano metropolis. And this report, Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin, reports that over 100 children aged 3 to 5 are reported missing since 2010 in Kano State. This report.
2021. This 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar alongside 3 other children were said to have left this Islamia school located along Umar Adamu Street in Kawaje area of Kano metropolis and were deceived into accepting a lift by a tricycle rider who later dropped the remaining children and took off with the little Hanifa.
Shi mai keke nafef ne ya zo ya ce wai bari ya ɗana su. Bayan ya ɗana su kuma sai sauke yaran su hudu ne, sai sauke guda uku. Bayan ya sauke guda uku sai ci sai rago yaran sai suka ce ki sauko mana Hanifa, sai mai keke nafef din sai ya ce a ita ba a gama ɗana ta ba. Then bayan sun yi wannan maganan to sai yaran suka ce sai wani ya shiga a daidai sawun kamar fasinja sai ya dauke ta dora akan cinya sai suka ce Hanifa ki sauko sai ta a'a wai an kullunta ne to daga wannan dai shikenan ba ƙara tsintar labarin ba sai yara suka zo suka ce wai an dora ta keke napep an tafi da ita.
We visited Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi Foundation School, from where this little girl is believed to have been tracked, followed, and finally kidnapped. We met the head teacher preparing this announcement in response to this latest incident 4 days after it happens. With over 100 pupils, this school seems not to have any standard procedure to monitor the safe return of these children to their respective homes after school.
Daga cikin dokanmu mai lamba 11 cikin yarjejeniyar cewar wanda ya kawo yaronsa makaranta to haƙƙinsa ne zuwan yaron makaranta da kuma komawarsa gida. Wannan yana cikin dokanmu sai ka yadda da wannan. Kar ma ka zo ka ce da mu ko yaron ka yake zuwa mu je mu ɗauko shi ba ma yin wannan. Sannan akwai doka ta 12 cikin yarjejeniya ɗin lokacin ɗaukan ɗalibai karfe 5 zuwa 5:30. Akwai tara ga duk wanda ya bar yaronsa bayan wannan lokacin.
According to the resident who lives near this Islamia school, most at times parents forget to show up to pick their children after school, and that in most cases they sleep in neighboring houses.
Yaro za a tashi daga makaranta zai kai wajen sallan isha ba zuwa ɗauke shi ba. Saɓanin haka ma sai dai mu kai cikin gidajenmu sai an zo ana ta neman su ana ƙalubale su ce ba haka ba su suka zo ɗaukan yaro ba su ne daban suka zo. To an yi irin wannan da yawa an ɗauka yara unguwan nan da yawa. Wannan ne ina karo na 3 a wannan unguwa, amma kuma cikin ikon Allah dai a cikin makarantar ba a ciki ake ɗauka ba sai yaro ya tafi hanya akan bi shi a yi masa dabara a ɗauke su.
Akwai sakaki na iyaye yana haifar da haka saboda su da dama za ka ga yara magariba ta yi yara suna yawo a titi iyayensu bai san yadda su kira wasu gida su koma gida ba ko su abubuwa da yawa ko yaro zai tashi daga makaranta lokaci ya ƙure na dawowarsa iyayen shi ba za su iya bin shi su ga yaron nan me ya tsire shi a hanya bai dawo ba har sai lokaci ya ƙure an kai to da isan wannan yaron ba gan shi ba tukunna iyayen shi za su fara complain akan ba su ga yaron su.
Lately, the cases of abduction and missing children in Kano seems to have taken a new dimension. Muhammad Usman is equally a resident of Kawaji, whose wife and children recently escaped being kidnapped.
My wife and children were traveling from Ring Road to Zoo Road, which roughly should have been 300 naira. But the tricycle rider told them 100 naira. Later on, the tricycle rider started making phone call, saying, "I have some." When my wife eventually realized there is a problem, and then shouted for the rider to drop them. And that was how they finally escaped.
Although attempts to speak with NAPTIP in Kano was not successful, but the coalition of parents of missing children in Kano confirmed that over 100 children abducted from various places across the state are nowhere to be found.
We have been having reported cases of missing children from 2010 up to 2019, when 10 were recovered from Anambra State. As of today, we have documented over 120 children who are still missing.
It is now 5 days since Hanifa Abubakar disappeared, and there is no news from her abductors, making the list of the total number of missing children in Kano to 121. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And in another development, the new chairman, Daily Trust Board of Economists, Professor Fatima Tijani, says Nigeria's economy records GDP growth of 4.05% in the third quarter of the year, even though the growth does not translate into better life for the common people. She said rising food inflation and unemployment are not abating, urging government to take concrete steps needed to mitigate the effect of this.
From what we have seen, particularly in the third quarter of the year, clearly there is growth. Growth in economics is usually measured by growth in the GDP, the gross domestic product, which has risen by about 4.03%. But the question we always ask as economists is whether this growth is translated into fruits that the common man can actually, enjoy. Growth of GDP does not necessarily mean development. It does not necessarily mean more schools. It does not necessarily mean more hospitals. It does not necessarily mean more food or better food on the table of the common man. And that is what we are experiencing at present in Nigeria. GDP is growing, but the fruits are not quite trickling down appropriately to the citizens because of various challenges which the board discussed. Some of these challenges as, for example, the rising food inflation. Inflation is, we can say, okay, the rate, even though the rate is declining, but in absolute terms, it is still growing. And what is driving that growth is the growing food inflation. Food is becoming more costly by the day, and that is impacting on the general welfare of the common person. And in addition to that, there is growing insecurity, not only in terms of quantum, but also in the terms of the depth of the insecurity and the spatial spread. So all this is affecting the lives of people in Nigeria. And unemployment, especially youth unemployment, is not abating. It is intensifying. So these are issues that contradict, if you like, and dampen the effect of the growth in GDP.
And that wraps up the news update on Trust Television. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms for more updates. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching.